The EU is one of the most controversial issues in British politics. It has a significant impact on the lives of everyone in the country.
However, where most politicians fall short is that they spend too much time on rhetoric and not enough time explaining how the EU affects the British people themselves. We aim to clarify the situation, exploring the main areas of controversy and considering what is the best course of action. Europe, in or out?
As part of the EU, we have completely open borders between EU countries for migration. It's obvious immigration has a huge impact on the lives of the British people. In the short term, immigration pushes down wages and leads to unemployment as immigrants supplant British workers.
However, in the long term, it can be beneficial. On average, immigrants provide more in tax revenue than they take out in government spending. This can lead to increased employment in the long run, as the government is able to spend more money on retraining programs for those out of work. Also, with cheaper workers, companies have more money to invest in expanding, leading to even more jobs.
Many people come up against EU regulation in the course of their day-to-day lives, from whether it's how long you can legally work for, or what type of vacuum cleaner you're allowed to buy. At its best, it's annoying, and at its worst, it strangles British business and growth.
However, there's not just the petty micromanaging of a board supervisor. There are several areas where cooperation between nations is necessary to secure actual progress, such as the environment, working conditions, and banking reform. If only one country makes such an advance, the effect is nullified, as the other countries simply continue on as before, or allow people to cross the borders and carry on regardless.
In this way, we more pool our sovereignty, allowing us to achieve more together than we would individually be able. Without mutual cooperation at the expense of a few sacrificed rights, we would not have democracy, a legal system, or a life expectancy above 30 years. But we'd have our freedom. Quite.
The EU is beneficial for trade. As the largest economy in the world, it benefits us to be able to sell our goods without tariffs to a market of over 500 million consumers. It also makes goods imported from the EU cheaper to buy for us here in the UK. If outside, we would pay huge tariffs on EU goods and be able to sell less there. The arrangement also benefits trade in a more subtle way. There are very high tariffs on goods from outside the EU. This means that companies find it cheaper to build goods in the UK they want to sell in the EU. For Britain, this means increased employment, as companies set up branches in Britain. Nissan has said, we build cars for Europe in the UK. If we leave, many companies would move to Germany or Italy, who both have stronger industrial sectors, putting thousands of British jobs at risk.
As a result, the EU is like a cartel, with free trade for those on the inside but tariffs on goods passing out and in. With 500 million consumers inside, why on earth would we choose to abandon this fortress?
Economically, it seems a bad idea to leave. However, the final clash point is between the economy and political sovereignty. But this seems to be far too melodramatic. The EU is becoming more democratic, with the European Parliament finally standing on equal legislative terms with the European Commission. Furthermore, if we had a codified constitution like Germany, any EU legislation that clashed with this would not have to be passed. Finally, we are well placed to arrange opt-outs for any EU legislation we dislike, such as the euro, or abolish border controls.
But is that our only option? Could we arrange to stay inside the common market, but outside of the political union? Even assuming we could, we'd be much less well placed to negotiate trade deals, opt-outs on EU policies that we don't agree with.
The countries which have similar arrangements, such as Norway and Switzerland, have come to regret it for these reasons.
So it is the only option. In or out. The economic argument is too strong to ignore, and the political sovereignty argument too weak to mount much of a challenge. I think even one day UKIP will come to realise it's cold outside the castle.